Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. And now to honor America, please join in the singing of our National Anthem. Representing the three-time Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils, Arlette.
I feel like I'm at a game. Oh my gosh. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, season 3, episode 32, titled Tale of Two Rookies, Blackwood and Hughes. I am your host, Sam Wu, here with Short Sky, Beer Baron, in their home studios. Later tonight, Scotty will give us the second intermission report live from Honda Center. And also, we have a special guest, a Devils fan, a huge Devils fan that fills in for Arlette every once in a while. His name is Steven Saharic. Hopefully I didn't mutilate that. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, all powered by Nova Product Design from Primetime Radio. Going to the guys in their studios. Take it away, boys.
First of all, that is one nice hat, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
I think I've seen it before, but I truly enjoy that hat.
I made sure the night of his retirement to get it, and I pretty much searched the arena and made sure I had it.
That is a sweet.
I also couldn't find my Beer Baron froze already. Yeah, no. I made sure that I searched the arena when Brodo retired and Beer Baron froze. Sam, you still there? Or am I doing this alone? Because it looks like the Devils are winning at 2-0 at this point. So Devils are up on the West Coast. 2-0 against Anaheim. So,
yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I don't have a camera feed tonight.
No. It's cool. So yeah, looks like Beer Baron froze again. Devils are up. Pavel Zacha with 2 goals tonight, Sam. What do you think about that, man? Pavel Zacha, 2 goals.
I think he is playing for a roster spot. I think he's playing for his career right now. I think he is now the kind of the pressure's off of trying to make the playoffs. Let's ask Beer Baron now that he's unfrozen.
Hey, he's unfrozen.
2 weeks in a row, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's really starting to
I don't know what the hell's going on either. So Beer Baron, we were just talking about Pavel Zacha with his second goal tonight.
Nice.
Yeah. Thoughts on Pavel Zacha? 2 goals tonight. Out on the West Coast.
Honestly, I feel like he's on a good line. I feel that the Zacha, Gusev, Brat line has just been insane lately. Brat himself has been, I think, 14 points in 17 games or whatever it is. But honestly, like, it would be nice to see him take that next step, and hopefully he's starting to turn that corner. Hopefully, a lot of them are. I know we talk about the tale of two rookies, and that's the name of the podcast tonight. But you really want to start to see a little bit more from Jack Hughes. And that was something that Matt Laughlin kind of touched on last week, was he wants to see a little bit more from Jack Hughes. And I agree, production-wise, point-wise, you didn't expect him to light up the world, but at the same time, he's getting pushed around. It's like with that welcome to the NHL moment. But I don't know. He's got to get past that frustration. I can't speak for it because I've never been in his shoes, but it would be nice to see him, pick up the pace too.
Now, as far as Jack Hughes is concerned, like we're talking about Pavel Zacha with, 2 goals tonight, and we're all hoping he's going to turn into the player that we're hoping he was, but he's had a couple seasons in the NHL where Jack Hughes is pretty much thrown into the fire of playing in the league tonight, or this whole season, not just tonight, but this whole season. So Pavel Zacha has had some time to get kind of used to it, but Jack Hughes has been, just pretty much thrown to it all. And I think we're he came in so highly touted that we're expecting him to just kind of continue that, but this is jumping up a major level from where he was. Yeah. So, it's there's definitely going to be some adjustment. We'll put it that way, some adjustment. So,
yeah, dude, there's that major adjustment, especially, what is he, still 18 years old. You're going against like the best in the world. It's not even the best in the country. It's not even the best, it's like the best in the world. And I can imagine how frustrating that is, going from where you're dominating at your level to a point where you're putting up, record-breaking numbers in the U.S. development program. And then you go from doing that to coming into the NHL. And then also keep in mind, top line winger gone, traded away, coach gone, traded away, GM that brought you in gone, traded or fired. I said Hines is traded away. You know what I meant.
Fired.
You're fired. Coleman gone. So upheaval is he goes from being in a stable situation where all they do is win and just completely destroy people, where he's a darling on the ice and can do no wrong, to being in a very frustrating situation. And there's nights where he's just getting completely like thrown around like a rag doll. If you watch that Detroit game, it was bad at points. Like Bertuzzi was all over him.
But you know what though, the great players will take those situations and they will find a way to rise above. And he was the best at his age group with the U.S. National team, and now he is with all of the best of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an adjustment period, and it's just a matter of how does he react to it. It's not like he's completely wilted and disappeared, and he's doing what he can, but if he's going to be a great player, he's got to take this opportunity to look at what he's got to rise up to and meet that and go beyond it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's also, you look at, what the Devils season's been like that. He's been talking about it. I think there was about a month ago or so, he had an interview on the radio with Laughlin, and he was basically saying like, I need to get stronger. I need to get bigger. I need to work on my shot. So he's well aware of like what the situation is. On the flip side, you have Mackenzie Blackwood, who by all accounts, in my opinion, should be mentioned in the Calder race. I know he's not going to get it. I'm not stupid. The Devils would have to be contending for a playoff spot, and he did, damn near have to have a perfect record for them to at least consider him for the Calder. But at the same time, what he's been doing has been pretty damn incredible. And unfortunately, this California swing right now is not going their way. They had a 2-0 lead against San Jose that they let slip away, and they lose in overtime. Then they had a 1-0 lead against the Kings that they let slip away in overtime too. But Schneider's played pretty decent. He's playing pretty decent tonight, knock on wood. But honestly, like Blackwood, looking at his body of work this year, it gives you a lot of hope of what's going to be coming, for the future of this team and for the future of the man in between the pipes.
Yeah, and the unfortunate reality of any goaltender that's going to step in for the New Jersey Devils is the immediate comparison will be to Brodeur,
No,
which
100%.
it's unfair. It's unfair to any goalie that comes in to be compared to Brodeur because there's not going to be another Martin Brodeur. Like there's not going to be another Patrick Waugh. It's we're never going to have. I hope I'm wrong, but we're never going to have a Brodeur caliber goaltender again. Because those are generational goaltenders like Brodeur and Waugh and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we are used to we're a fortunate franchise to where we are used to goaltending excellence and consistency, where not every franchise gets that. I mean, you look at Chicago, you look at San Jose, they've been perennial, with Chicago winners and San Jose with perennial at least contenders. And they've had multiple goaltenders along that entire journey. Whereas we had one for the longest period of time, which is not normal. So I hope that Blackwood is our goaltender because we need it. We need goaltending. It's got to come from the crease on out for success. No matter what anyone else says, that's my complete opinion. You need goaltending first and then build it on out from there. And I hope Blackwood's it because we've been searching since that, I guess you can call it a debacle of the acquisition of Corey Snyder, because since then it's been like that was Brodeur on his decline and Snyder coming in. And then we have not had consistent goaltending since then. And that's for me, that's all I want to see is consistent goaltending, and then you can build on out from there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you're bringing a great point of like that transition between Brodeur and what Corey Schneider was. It was handled wrong in the sense that the team that was built in front of either or of those goaltenders, it could have been a marriage made in heaven. It could have been if Lou did it right and didn't get handcuffed by these terrible contracts that he was signing all these dudes to. If he was building the team correctly and kind of foreseeing in the future instead of trying to ride that horse until it ran out, just ran out of steam, it could have been a good and easy transition. It could have been one of those things where they could have had one more cup run with Marty if they had the right team in front of them. And there was pieces at one point, because if you look at that 2012 roster, you're like, it's not a bad team. Obviously, it took them to the Stanley Cup Finals, and there was pieces, and it started to fall apart like right after that. Parise leaves and all these other things start to happen. And then, the decline of Marty, it was just, it was sad to see. And it just wasn't approached correctly. And it sucks because it put us behind, we're so used to winning year after year. And it was like, it wasn't even a thought of making the playoffs. And it's crazy because you look at the teams that around our time were the same way, like the Detroit Red Wings. We're the only other team that had a longer span of consistently making the playoffs. And now look at them now. You know what I mean? It's like that pendulum swings the other way. And it just sucks that our pendulum hasn't really swung back in a good direction in quite some time.
But at the same time, like we look out with our age and when we all, when you and I and Sam got into this team, we got into this team in the early 90s when that pendulum was swinging from 88 until 2012. And that was a solid time. But you talk to anyone that was around from 82 to 88, it was basically what we've been dealing with now. Misery.
Yeah.
So we're
Sure.
we're now seeing what the 88 to 82 people saw as just complete and utter misery. Not as bad because this team is still better than I want to say that those early 80 teams were, but we're just used to, because what we grew up seeing was just, like you said, excellence, and started with 92, 93, bring in people like Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermeyer, drafting Brodeur, who let's not forget Calgary traded up or traded down, whatever you want to look at it, trade for Trevor Kidd first, and then we traded we drafted Brodeur from the and the rest is history. Like, could you imagine if Brodeur had been drafted by Calgary? Like, it would have been weird. Like, we would not have had the 3 cups easily. We would not have had the 3 cups that we had.
I beg to differ.
We'll
we
talk
would
about
have
that.
5.
We'll talk about that in a little bit because I have a funny story about that too. But go ahead, Sam.
Oh, I would just say that we would have won 6 cups with Trevor Kidd. Just jokes.
No,
just jokes.
No. We were built. We were built defensively, and it takes a goaltender that can see 12 to 15 shots a game and be comfortable with that. And Brodeur was that goaltender for our style of defense.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. It is hard to get that small amount of shots in a game and to have a rhythm and to make those saves when you need to.
All right, guys. We have a special guest today. Special guest is all Beer Baron. He said, "Get this guy on."
Right.
I mean, Beer Baron's got some great guests in the past, like Lacey Mark. He's got comedians. He got a Scotty. He's got all sorts of guests. Yeah, Nick Villano. So as a recruiter, he found this guy who's a big Devils fan and also has filled in for Arlette singing the national anthem. Please to welcome to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Nova Product Design Hotline, Steven Saharic. Steven, you're with Sam, Shorts Guy, and Beer Baron. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you?
Doing good, Steven. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Super excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Kind of crazy how everything kind of fell into place. Steven actually went over to my wife's tattoo shop, which is Working Class Art in Branchburg, New Jersey. If anybody's looking to get a tattoo, and that's a little shameless plug.
Beer Baron, I might need to stop there. I yet to get a tattoo. I've yet to get one.
Well, you have to now.
I may need to.
You have to now. But Steven went in there. He was getting a tattoo and took out his I believe your debit card or your credit card, which is a Devil's debit card, which sparked my wife to be like, "Hey, by the way, my husband is a huge Devils fan as well," and talked about the podcast. And it was cool to hear that you were a fan of the podcast, that you listen. And then she goes, she came home and was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this guy, Steven?" And we're talking about it for a minute. And I go, "Yeah, I know exactly who that is." So it was kind of cool to see those worlds kind of cross paths. But to get off into the first question I have for you, how in the world did you end up singing the national anthem? Like, how did that happen?
So it's not like I wish I had a huge grand story where similar to kind of how you and I got the contact to be on the show tonight, but it was really, I had gone to Rutgers University to do my bachelor's degree in vocal performance. And I had a friend of mine actually, I don't know if you know the name, he's sung the national anthem quite often, Chris Giorgetti. Him and I went to school together. So he had already had the contact established, and him and I were big Devils fans. We've gone to games together, and I've been hounding him. I'm like, "Come on, man, you gotta give me the contact. Like, how do I get in there?" So one day we were just talking, and he gave me the contact of one of the producers there. I gave him a call. I said, "Hey, listen, if there's any chance at doing this, I'd love it. Whenever you need me, I don't care if it's an hour, 2 hours before the game, whatever you need, I'm there." So he emailed me back later on that night, and he's like, "Hey, would you be able to come in next week?" So I was still in school at the time. So had a couple classes. I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. I skipped the classes. I drove down to Newark. It was actually kind of funny, the game on tonight, they're playing the Ducks. It just so happened the Ducks were in town, so they were practicing on the main ice. So they brought me in through the event staff, and they brought me right ice level. I saw the Ducks come off the ice, empty arena. They turned the sound system on. They had me sing. I sang, and they're like, all right, what's your availability? So it was really
cool.
quick. It happened. It was probably over the span of maybe like a week or two between talking back and forth and actually going to the Rock and singing on the ice. So, like I said, I wish it was a bit of a flashier story, but it got me here. So,
flashy story or not, you're a Devils fan, and you're able to walk out on that ice, sing the national anthem. How does that night feel for you to be there in that moment, singing, the national anthem for your favorite team?
Oh, it's the greatest thrill in the world. I mean, I kind of fell into singing. So I've been a hockey fan since I was a little kid. My dad's company had seats at Continental, like 10 rows off the ice in Marty's left corner. So I've been going to Devils games since, the mid 90s. I'm an early 90s baby. So, mid 90s, I've been going to Devils games. It's like, I wish I could put it into words, kind of what it feels like. It's like, you just get this rush. It's like the biggest adrenaline rush you've ever had. It's really exciting. You hear the fans, the way I walk on from the ZAM corner, you got people yelling at you and giving you high fives. So that really amps you up. And then when you walk out on the ice and, it almost feels like you're an arm's length from, my first game I sang Marty was in net. So I felt like I was within arm's length of Marty. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's the greatest honor of my life.
Stephen, Sam here. I have a question. Now, how many times have you sang the national anthem? And the follow-up question is, are you an E-bus emergency backup singer?
You know what? I have been in that position before. I have been an E-bus, which is kind of funny. I'm glad we have a title for it now. I've been singing the anthem for this is either my 6th or 7th season. So I started in 2013-14. This year I've only done 3 games. My wife and I had a baby in January, so I kind of said, can't sing too much this year. But last year I did about 13 games. So I do it quite often. And then I'm singing on March 12th and March 19th. They're both Thursday night games. I think it's against Tampa and Calgary.
Dude, first of all, congratulations. Go ahead.
I appreciate that. Oh, well, so the E-bus, it was funny. A couple years ago, they called me and they said, hey, we have a new singer coming on tonight. It was one of the cultural events. They try to tie their singer into like any of the events that they're doing. So you'll see I think Polish Heritage Night, they had a Polish group come out and sing the anthem. So it was like one of those nights. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they said, hey, we're going to bring you out to the game. We just want to have somebody here who has experience, God forbid, something happens that you're here. We can kind of like pull you in last minute. So it was kind of nice. Felt like a relief pitcher just in case could get the call from the bullpen.
Could I in theory be an E-bus as well if there's Asian American night, and I'll tell them that I'll sing the national anthem?
Hey, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, we'll talk afterwards. You give me the contact info, and I'll send them a demo.
Hey, if you're at the game on the 12th, we'll set it up.
Oh
actually,
my God. Don't let him sing.
No.
Actually,
that's a terrible idea, Stephen. Don't let him do it.
Oh,
Stephen, we've got so many of these vouchers from the food drive. Let's all try to make it on the 19th and cash in, because I think that's the last date to redeem them. So we'll talk later. Carry on, guys. Yep.
I got you.
So, Stephen, I know there's a lot of people that I kind of like would love the opportunity to go out there and sing the anthem. And first of all, it's such an honor to do that. Having pride in our country, having pride in and just singing the anthem in general. What do you think is the largest crowd you ever had to sing in front of? Because you talked about the nerves or like the first time doing it. Have you ever sold in front of like a full on sellout, like crazy ruckus type of house where they're playing the Rangers, or have you ever done it during the playoffs or anything like that?
The dream is a playoff game. I think Arlette's the only singer doing playoff games right now, but I'm playing a long game here, guys. So I'm hoping maybe one day if Arlette, decides she wants to step down, maybe I could step up. I'd love to do that. But I had an opportunity to sing a Ranger game back when I was in college, and I had to turn them down because I had a final, and my professor wouldn't let me reschedule the final. So that was like the biggest regret of my life. But I have sung for a couple sellouts. It was a couple years ago. It was the year they went to the playoffs. It was like Black Friday. So it was packed. Oh my God. The day after Thanksgiving.
A large drunk crowd.
Drunk crowd is right.
It was like a 5 o'clock game, I think, too, which was even better.
Everybody's drunk.
The sellout crowds are insane.
That's crazy, man. That's great. You realize there's people that are in bands their whole life, and they're like, man, I played like in front of 100 people, and it was fantastic, and they're like jacked out of their mind about it. I don't know why I got a weird Southern accent when I started doing that, but you've sung, and you think about it, you've sang in front of, I don't know if you've ever sang in front of more people, but that's pretty wild. Like you sang in front of like, and what is it, 18,000 people? How many do they hold in that place?
Yeah, like 19,000 at the Rock.
Crazy.
There. Yeah, that's a lot of people being front of.
It's insane. And it's, you always kind of have that little, no matter how many times you sing it, it's always like that little doubt comes in your mind. Like right before you step on the ice, you're like, oh man, I really hope I don't forget these words. I really hope I don't forget these words. But you just feed off the energy of the crowd, and everyone's really supportive. The guys on the ice always give you stick taps, and it's just awesome. It's such a cool experience. But I mean, even kind of what you're saying with smaller crowds, sometimes smaller crowds, I think any musician can attest to this. Sometimes smaller crowds are even better to sing in front of. Just they're sometimes more appreciative of what you're doing. Not saying that's not the case at the Rock, but I would never discount singing in front of a small crowd. Any time I have an opportunity to sing in front of a crowd, I relish in it. It's a lot of fun.
So have you had a chance to kind of talk to Arlette, get pointers from her, or because we all see her as like the anthem singer for the Devils, but have you any chance to work with her or talk with her or anything like that?
I talked to her once, and it was like the first year. We just happened to be, and it wasn't even at a game that I was singing at. I just happened to run into her at a game that she sang at. And it was like maybe for 10 minutes. We just talked briefly. Nothing too special really there. It was just, I talked to her about, I've been singing every so often, you get I got some pointers on like, where to look and how to stand and make sure I'm within the time limits, because they do have time restraints. So to make sure that I keep an internal pace in my head, and I'm just always watching the clock. So, which was very helpful.
I often think about this because first and foremost, you're a fan, right? And I can imagine like if you were singing before a huge game, like let's say there's a game that they needed to win to get into the playoffs, and they're like, all right, Steven, this is it. You're going to come in, you're going to sing for this night. And you're fired up as a fan. You go out there, you crush the anthem. What is like holding you back from just grabbing the mic and just screaming into it? Like, let's go, and just firing up the crowd and like, waving your arms around like a lunatic. Like, how do you keep yourself composed where you're like, you sing and then boop and you're out?
See, I don't care if it's like a game it's a push getting us to the playoffs, or if it's like the second game of the season. To me, it's all the same. I mean, energy-wise, as a Devils fan, I want to just see a win every single time I'm on the ice or anytime I'm there at the Rock. And it is definitely hard. It doesn't matter when I sing. It's hard to you just want to do it, right? But you just remember
Just
that
pound a beer on the ice.
oh my God, I just want to like Stone Cold Steve Austin it. Just 2 beers crushed right above my head. Let's go. I'd totally do that. But you got to remember at the same time too, I'm always thinking like, don't do anything to piss them off because they might not ask you back. So
Yeah,
I'm always like, that's always in my head. I want to be asked back. I wanted to make sure I do a good job. I want to represent the team in a really good fashion. As we all do.
Yeah, but the day that you're, I'm sorry, Shirts guy, I have to say this, but the day that you're like, all right, maybe I got the kid now, which by the way, congratulations on. I got the kid. Maybe I don't have enough time in my life to do this, or something else is taking too much time. The day you decide that's your last game, I will stand over in the side and I will throw you 2 beers, so that way you can smash them together, do the whole Stone Cold thing as a final farewell, which I guarantee will go viral and you'll become like a legend.
I'll take you up on that. That sounds awesome.
Yep. Yeah, but you know what though? Like being excited at the end of the anthem is great because like Rene Rancourt, which I think I'm saying his name right, from Boston, when he sings the anthem in Boston, at the end of it, like they expect him to lose it and like just pump up the crowd. Like you've got to probably, I would assume, look to guys like that as like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like that's the guy I want to be at the end of an anthem.
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying before, if there ever becomes an opportunity for me where, if Arlette ever does decide that she doesn't want to do this anymore, or she wants to step aside, and if I could step into more of a full-time role, I would love to do something like that. You look at these guys. Even I forget the guy's name, but the singer in St. Louis too. He was awesome. He kind of does the same thing. I know the singer in Nashville kind of does something similar as well, but we don't really see that much anymore because all the country singers are singing there. So again, as a Devils fan, you want to do everything you can to pump the crowd up. I mean, even when you're sitting in the stands. I mean, I have a boisterous, pretty loud voice as it is. So after I sing, you'll hear me trying to start some "Let's Go Devils" chants, or give me a D. Like I try all that stuff. I'll go nuts. I'll lose my voice afterwards. I'm done. But that's the goal, right? I would love to be on the ice and hype everybody up if I could. But maybe one day.
Which arena is it, or which team is it that has is it Boston where the guy's the bartender too, where he's like bartending and he comes down and he sings the anthem and he goes back and continues bartending the rest of the game?
Oh, I don't know.
I forget which team it is.
No.
It's a cool story. Like he's a bartender on a concourse or something like that. And like, how like the Rock, they have those really fancy bars. He's like one of those bartenders. And then like they bring him down in an elevator. He goes, sings the anthem, and he's like, all right, see you guys later. I'm going to go serve drinks. And then he goes back upstairs and serves drinks.
That would be awesome. Because Rene Rancourt in Boston is like, he gets so jacked at the end of that anthem. It's like, it's almost what I look forward to in playoff time, because he just gives it his all. I love it.
Yeah, I wish I could do it. Like I said, I don't want to do anything that they don't like. I'd love to do something like that and just go nuts. But I try to keep it as professional as possible. And then I figure once I'm up in the stands, I'll go crazy.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we have to. Oh, go ahead, short guy.
No, Steven. So Beer Baron, you may have been about to ask the same question, but Steven, have you kept track of your record when you sing the anthem?
I started to, and then I figured it was better if I didn't. I didn't want to keep track of that. But I can tell you that I kept track of losses, and I have yet to lose in regulation. So
there you go.
Hey.
So I'll take that as a win.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So are you watching the game right now as we're talking? Is it on in the background?
Yes, it is.
Somebody in the Facebook group just wrote that there was a fight. Who got into a fight?
It was Kevin and Gibson.
Yeah, I'm watching this. I'm watching the replay right now. Like, not for nothing, but goalie's getting aggressive. I'm all about that. I know it's against us, man, but I love when a goalie gets aggressive because I love doing that myself.
So, Steven, I know you're saying that you have the 2 dates for this year. Now, do you know anything about next year? Did they give you like kind of a heads up of the next year's schedule, or like when you're going to do it? Obviously, they didn't announce next year's schedule, I don't believe, but are you given a heads up, or is it like just the beginning of the year, like right before the year starts, they call you up and they say, "Hey, we're looking at these dates. Can you make it work?"
Yeah. I usually get a phone call in like August. Because when preseason starts in September, sometimes they'll have me come in and sing a preseason game. So August, I usually get a phone call. And they usually try to schedule me like 1 or 2 games right off the bat. And then it's usually during the year where they'll shoot me a message in like February, like for instance, and be like, "Hey, do you have these dates in March open?" And whenever they shoot them over to me, I say yes. Like, I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to the Devils game that night.
Mm-hmm.
So, I even told them too, like, that's a whole nother thing. Like, I don't care if it's last minute, if it's an hour before the game, whatever you need, I'm there. So they know, I try to be as reliable as possible, because I know sometimes things happen where other people drop out, and it's an opportunity for me. So I jump at it.
Yeah. And I need to answer this question because Russell in the Facebook group just said, "Yo, the game is on now. Why are you guys doing it now?" Because we can, my friend, because we can, because it's on the West Coast, and they didn't ask us before we decided to do the podcast. They just decided to have a game. They should look at our schedule.
The NHL decided to schedule a game in the middle of our podcast. So
how dare they?
How dare they? Is right, Steven. How dare they?
We had an important guest that we needed to speak to. Yeah, dude, Steven, I think it's such a it's so crazy, like how all of this kind of fell together, and I really have to thank my wife for kind of being the catalyst between this, because if it wasn't for her letting me know, but last question before I let you go, let's say Arlette does retire. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it on or publicly or whatever, but I'm curious, like, do they pay you to do the anthem, or is it like, hey, we'll give you a free ticket, or is it just like, hey, it's an honor to do it, so just show up and do it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they do for Arlette. If I did, I probably wouldn't. That's her deal.
Yeah, that's her deal. Yeah.
For me, they treat me really nice. They hook me up with tickets, and as a Devils fan, I mean, I really couldn't ask for more.
See, that's awesome. I think that's so cool. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's perfect. By the way, that was just our excuse, because Sam's been waiting to use that sound effect for at least like 2 years. So that's our excuse to use it.
If you guys are there at the 19th, Sam, when I'm done, I just need you to keep playing that on repeat. Bring it to the game.
Nice. Well, Steven, thank you so much for coming on with us. Best of luck. Hopefully we can get out to the games where you're singing next. Next time you get a tattoo, or next time you're going over to the shop, let Nicky know, and I'll try to stop by and I'll say what's up in person if I don't see you at the game. But thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Steven, let's get a beer sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. I'd love that. Thanks for having me on.
Definitely.
And beer, if I can, just real quick, I gotta say, the experience at your wife's shop was absolutely incredible. It was my first tattoo. So, Shorts guy, let's get on that.
I think I have to.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So it was awesome. So thanks, guys. I appreciate letting me on.
100%, dude. Yeah, come on anytime. And we'll definitely we'll talk soon. Dude, that was Steven. The one of the many anthem singers for the Devils, and I got to tell you, that takes a lot of balls. We didn't talk about that part, but that takes a lot of balls to go out there and sing, even though everybody knows the words to that song. The feeling of like, if you screw that up, then you're gonna look like the biggest moron in the world. That takes a lot of nuts to go out there and actually sing that song. So
no, I totally agree, but it's not like the song is super easy either. It's there's so many ups and downs in the vocal patterns in that song. It's not an easy song. And
staying with Pete too.
and yeah, and to stay with Pete, but just to go out there and to do anything like that, vocally or anything like that, on your own by yourself as like the lone person, and you and I have both been on stage before, with different versions of
Mhm.
bands.
Yep.
To be like the guy in front is so difficult, let alone to be the guy in front and just you. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just you. It's difficult. But man, good for Steven. Like, man, that's awesome. It's almost like a dream come true. It's like, yeah, I'm a singer and I want to sing the national anthem, and my favorite team has called me. That's got to be the greatest feeling in the world. That your favorite team wants you to sing the national anthem. Just the pride in country and your team is got to be fantastic.
Oh yeah. So Christopher Jacobs in the Facebook group just asked us, what are your takes on the Mike Gillis interview for GM? I have mixed emotions about it because his draft record is not really the best, and the way he handles the draft is not really the best. But he's a smart guy in the sense of, like, if you put him in the hockey operations position, I think I'd be all right with that. I don't know, man. I think Fitzgerald did an awesome job, or is doing an awesome job. I wouldn't mind handing him the keys full time, but I don't know, brother. Like, it's kind of 2 weeks till my little face painter is born. Whoa, David Decker, congratulations, brother.
Yeah, man.
You had a little one coming on the way. That's awesome, bro.
Congratulations, Dave.
Sorry, I was like reading that.
No. I just saw it too. I was when I saw that announced that the alert on my phone, I was like, we're not, like, I really kind of would love to have, if Brodeur's ready for this job, give it to him. If Brodeur is ready to be GM and wants to be GM, and you think you can put your confidence in him, let him go with it. It's scary because we're also tainted by the John McClain experiment with coaching, where John McClain, legend for the club, gets behind the bench and it's a disaster.
Exactly.
But
and then you got to fire a legend.
Yeah, and then you have to fire a legend. And that's why I was happy to see Brodeur cut his teeth as an assistant with St. Louis, because he's cutting his teeth, and if he's terrible as a GM with St. Louis, well, it's St. Louis. It's like, whatever, go away. Yeah. But he's kind of been like, no, like, you know what I'm talking about.
True,
it's
true.
If he's terrible with St. Louis, like, we're not going to care. Like, great, you screwed up another team. Good for you. But if he's ready to do it with our team and the ownership is ready to give him those keys, great, but he's going to have to get it right. Like, there's no, like there's no question. Brodeur has to get this right. His legendary status with this team is unprecedented. And for him to keep that, he's got to get this job right. If he gets it, maybe it's one of those things where they're going to bring in other people so that it doesn't look like they're just handing it to him. But, if Brodeur's ready for it, like, the guy, he knows hockey. That's for damn sure. Brodeur knows hockey, and he's played at every single level, NHL to Olympic to world tournaments. You have it. The guy knows hockey, and if he can do it, if he can do it, let a club legend do it.
It's funny because Christopher brought up another good point on the Facebook group, because he said, I think Fitz deserves a shot. Fitz makes these moves and then doesn't get the job. Makes no sense. We talked about it before the trade deadline, about giving him the keys to the car and just saying, like, all right, go for it and do whatever you have to do. But then would you, basically the analogy that I came up with was, would you let somebody rent your house and then say, do whatever you want, change whatever you want, change the color of the house, change any room you want, demo the bathroom too. I don't give a crap. But I'm gonna pull you out of there and it comes summertime. It doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna let somebody take control of the team where they're gonna make major moves, like moving Blake Coleman, for example, I feel like they wouldn't give him that opportunity if they weren't going to give him the job come the summertime, unless somebody else comes in that really knocks their socks off, or somebody that has a ton of experience, or somebody that's going to walk in the doors and be like, watch what I can do. You know what I mean? Like
if Fitz is on a tryout, and depending on how the Devils end the season, that's his interview, is seeing what I've done. Look what you let me do, and this is what I've done, and this is where we got to. They have to. The Devils would be stupid to not interview other good potential general managers.
100%.
Over the course of this time. So it's no guarantee that Fitz won't get the job. It's no guarantee that Brodeur won't get the job. It's no guarantee that Gillis won't get the job. No one is guaranteed this job, but they'd be stupid to just say, oh, look what Fitz has done. Let's give him the job. Like, you've got to talk to other people and see what their ideas are. And you also have to see what all these moves that Fitz did, how they pan out the rest of the season. If we, completely, go balls to the walls and win a lot of our final games, well, his tryouts looking pretty good for GM with the moves he made. And then you give him the keys at the draft. That's going to be the key thing. It's like, you want that GM who's going to be there to be at the draft, to be sitting at the table and saying, I want this guy, because we have so many draft picks, 3 right now, potentially in the first round. That's a huge ask, is to make sure that you get those right. You have 3 first round picks. Get that right. And that's the guy you want in.
And as long as everything holds according to plan, they'll have 3 first round picks. Otherwise, they'll have 1 first round pick, and then let's say Arizona, which they look pretty terrible after acquiring Hall. I don't read between the lines there, folks, but
yeah, exactly.
That was a team that was in a secure spot in the playoffs, and then they get Hall, and then all of a sudden, then wheels fall off. So if everything falls in place, yeah, they could have 3 first round picks, but then obviously you could flip a couple of those to acquire other talent. And the kid that they brought into Binghamton, I can't pronounce his last name, from Carolina, from the Vatanen trade, has already got, I think, 2 points in his last 3 games with the Binghamton Devils. So that guy is already starting to pay dividends. Like, I don't know, Fitz has made some pretty nice moves. I feel like getting a first round pick for Blake Coleman was huge, and also getting Nolan Foote for him.
It's his tryout.
You know what's huge, guys? I'm just cutting in. On the Nova Product Design live feed from Honda Center, we have Scotty. Scotty, how are you?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
This is the first.
This is pretty wild. Live from California in the Honda Center. That's pretty cool, man.
Right. Yeah, man. Had a great weekend so far of Devils hockey. So it's been a lot better last night and time tonight. So it's been pretty cool, man. The boys are playing pretty well. And I'm up there in that second period, but still, a nice goal just for Brat. Looking pretty good, man. Am I chopping up there? Chopping up in the feed?
Yeah, you're a little choppy. We'll still hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
It's been exciting, man. It's been getting chippy out there, too. A little chirping going on the benches and stuff like that. So, got a nice waiter service again. My Southern California waiter service will bring me booze and beer and food and chicken fingers and waffle fries. Right here by the Jack Daniels Club on Anaheim. It's doing good, man. We're having a good time.
Dude, it's pretty wild. You went to the Staples Center last night. You get to go to the Honda Center tonight, riding on the Let's Go Devils podcast, big baller budget.
That's right.
Getting waiter service in your section. So being there, Scotty, we're watching it.
It's all on Sam Wu. Sam is fronting the bill for all of this. I'm charging it all to his account, actually.
There you go. He gave you the black Amex and told you to go to town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm writing it off as a business expense. That's what I'm saying.
So, real quick, Scotty, we've been watching. We're watching the game here, but we're kind of casually watching because obviously we're doing the podcast. How have the boys looked? You said they look pretty good, but how has Corey Schneider looked? More importantly, how has he looked in person?
Corey Schneider has looked really good, man. I've been really shocked, from what we've seen earlier season with Corey, way now. He looks really solid. There's been a lot of good chances in front of him. Especially first period, the Ducks looked like they were asleep. Really took advantage of that. But second period, they woke up. They're playing a little bit harder, and they got a lot of good chances through to Corey. A lot of good tips that they were getting. And Corey's been solid, man. And he hasn't been giving up the crease. He's been out in the front. He's been playing his angles really well, and he's looked real good so far.
So Scotty, what's better, Staples Center or Honda Center? Which one do you like better?
Staples Center, 100%, man. This is like Anaheim is like going to Continental. Staples Center is like going to like a Grand Center. Staples Center is massive. It's so huge. Okay, but like the sight lines, especially the up the sight lines, but in my waiter seats, what can I say? They're pretty good.
So
when you're balling out of control,
you're being treated well. Scotty's balling over in SoCal right there.
I'm trying. I'm trying to do my for these Southern California ladies, do what I got to do.
Hey, so has anybody giving you any grief yesterday? Anybody give you any grief yesterday at the Kings game, or give you any grief over at the Ducks?
Nah. If anyone says anything here, I'm just like, Adam Henrique, you're welcome.
Yeah, true.
But everyone's super friendly, and it's real cool. Yesterday, actually, too, at the Kings game, my friend brought his 1-year-old son, so it was his first Devils game there in the Staples Center, and we were all like, we had people on them up and everything like that. It was a really good time. So it's not like going to like a Devils game that it's a little bit different. And again, because we're not doing the best standings this year, so it's been a lot of fun so far, man. I wish I could get to go to the Vegas game. That's next year. I want to do the full sweep. I want to do San Diego, LA, Anaheim, and Vegas.
Dude, it's a shame that they did it on the weekend. I wish we could have all of us gone out to California and did like a long weekend trip. Maybe next year if it happens to land on a weekend again.
Dude,
we have to look at the schedule.
No. Next year I'll go to Vegas. Let's make it happen. Vegas.
100%.
All of us. Yeah. Vegas. That was the way of Vegas.
That's not a hard convince right there. Yeah.
No.
That sounds great.
Wait.
You want to go to Vegas? I've never been to Vegas, so it'd be perfect.
Wait. You're full of it. You've never been to Vegas?
Never been to Vegas. Never been to Vegas.
Man,
it's
Vegas
about 3 hour delay, man. You
Vegas is a good time. Vegas is really good. I was there for 19 hours and it was a great time, all 19 hours.
Looks like it's about to.
The boys are about to take the ice again, so I'm going to go head in and take my seat for the third period over here. But it's nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, man.
Hey, maybe we'll take Tim Clark-Callahan on a road trip with us too.
Yes. That is what we have to do. We might leave him in the desert though, and see if he can find his way back.
Or he might have to throw a mattress off the top of the roof. It'll end up being the next.
Do not tempt me in such stupid things because I might do it. Throwing a mattress.
Hey, William Bauman's watching. Hey, Scotty, let's give a happy birthday shout out to Willie Boy there.
Yes. Yes, happy birthday to Billy Bauman. Please keep that fantasy champion nice and shined up because I'm going to take it back next year.
You're not, but that's okay.
Scotty, have fun repping the red and black up there in Cali, man.
Oh, there's
Fun,
been
man.
a lot of Devils fans here. We even had a small "Let's Go Devils" chant going here. So you'd be surprised, man. There's a lot of these East Coast transplants. I saw a lot of red jerseys yesterday, and it was nice seeing jerseys on the road. Yesterday when they were playing the Kings,
Yeah.
like old school days.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
a good
man.
idea. That's a good point.
And I want to say a big shout out to Campbell from New Zealand that I met yesterday, and Alan.
Oh, that was rad as hell.
Alan that I met in the beer line yesterday. He's a big fan of the podcast, and he wanted to say hello. So I wanted to give both of them shouts out.
Sweet.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
All right, Scotty, get back to your
Scotty,
seat, buddy.
Started. Go back to your seats, man. Go watch the game.
And let's go.
Let's go, Devils is
You were
right.
saying- Yes, indeed. Yo, we're making this happen. Next year, road trip to Vegas for that Devils
I'll go.
away game.
Oh,
Quick turnaround. We could get, and I guarantee if we put it out in the podcast, if we put it out in our community, if we're like, hey, Facebook group, Twitter, Twitch, all these places that we're on, whoever wants to do it, we're not gonna. It's not like an official podcast road trip, but yeah, there we go. That's what we need.
The guy in his fucking in his flood pants.
Exactly.
The guy in flood pants. Like what? Anyway, yes, I'll go to Vegas. Count me in the Vegas.
Dude, if we had now, it has to happen. Sam, are you listening? Are you listening to this?
Vegas.
Cheryl Miller said she's down to go to Vegas. I saw a couple other people chiming in the net that they would go to Vegas.
You know who I can say will go next year if we do a podcast trip to Vegas. Fan of the podcast, Kevin Stoke would go to Vegas. He's only been there like once or twice, but Kevin Stoke would go to Vegas. And Bobby Manila might go to Vegas too.
We should get Bruce Driver to go to Vegas.
Bruce Driver go to Vegas? Sure. You know what?
Yeah,
Grant Marshall,
Bruce Driver, and Grant Marshall. There you go.
White she's in. I feel like we could get a huge. I feel like if we plan this out right, we could like get a whole section of Devils fans at this game and just have a wild, insane party night in Vegas.
You know what? I'll do. I'll reach out to if any of you guys watch that show Pawn Stars. I'll try to get Chum Lee to come out of our group.
As long as he's a Devils fan. Chum Lee. Oh man.
I would love to go back to Vegas just to like hang out and have a good time. I would love it. I had such a good time when I was near Vegas once. I would go back.
Now, do you gamble?
Oh, of course I gamble.
Oh, that's my man. Yeah, I see it.
Question.
Craps is my game. Craps is my game.
All right, craps is my game too.
Love
so
it.
you and I belly up
Love
to a
it.
craps table. We'll be there for hours.
Dude, you don't understand too. Like my wife and I are the type of people we'll find like a craps table where it's like a $5 limit, like one of those real low end ones where there's like nobody on it.
Yeah,
and I'll get on there. I get so rowdy where I'm like, I'll make
that is the best part about craps is it becomes such a team effort and everyone losing their minds over what's going on. It is the best game. Craps is the best game to do. I love it. I love craps. I actually taught Bobby Manella's brother to play craps at an away game for Red Bulls 2, and it was such a good time. So I'm down. I'm down for craps. I'm down for gambling. Let's go to Vegas next year.
Go. Let's go.
Let's go
and
to
we get
Vegas.
Cam Jansen to go. That's what Christopher Jacob. We'll throw it out to anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to go, we'll go.
I would like going there with Cam would be a lot of fun. Going there with Grant would be a lot of fun. Like going there with anyone. Going there with just us would be. Just come to Vegas with the Let's Go Devils podcast. We will have a good time. I guarantee it.
How about Colin White?
Sure. I guarantee coming out with the Let's Go Devils podcast will be a good time. Come to Vegas with the Let's Go Devils podcast next year. On our jet. There it is. There's the flood pants. The flood pants.
Oh Lord. That guy's
Uh,
that guy's also probably
what? Oh, you're froze again. Froze again.
That's terrible.
Yeah. That's terrible.
Oh,
he
we
was
should probably
Sam. He was so bugged by the guy in the flood pants that he froze.
Oh, he goes, I'm out. Fee keeps dropping. He's got to fix his computer.
I know, we got to figure that out. It's 2 weeks in a row now, right? 2 or 3.
Yeah,
it's just been not good. You know, but that stuff happens. So
my computer freezes again. I just want to say goodbye to everybody.
Hey, you're back.
Dude, it's like killing me right now.
Yo, and by the way, when we go out to Vegas, not only does Vegas have Del Taco, Vegas has In-N-Out Burger. 2 of the best
There you go.
fast food joints in the country. In-N-Out Burger and Del Taco. You can get tacos, burritos, and fries all in the same order.
Sounds amazing.
How great of a world is that? Mexican and French fries. Oh, that was my thing out in Vegas. Anyway, so I'm happy to see that for right now we're in the 3rd. We're doing well. We're up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say we're up. You know, I'm not gonna say what the game situation as my my goal superstition, but I'll take it. And even though there was some goaltender abuse from Anaheim on our players, I do love goaltender aggression. By all means, I love goaltender aggression.
Yeah, we're out of the playoff contention, right? There's no way.
Oh no, Beer Baron froze. I hear music. I don't know if we're officially out of playoff contention, but it's going to be so hard to get back into playoff contention where we are right now.
yeah.
You know, we unfortunately this season was a lost season a lot earlier than a lot of us wanted it to be. It was going to be a hard season to do well, but it definitely became a lost season very early on.
Yeah, it was a lost season, but the Devils really have to win every single game and run the table if there's any chance of making the playoffs at this point.
And teams have to lose all the way out too, which is you're not going to see teams lose out. Like they've got to completely blow it, which you're not going to see happening. So
never say never.
Yep.
Well.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, I'm not stupid.
Hey, by the way, I need to throw this out to the podcast community because we harp on them all the time. Between the 4 of us, we saw last night that one Mikey McLeod learned how to finally tape his stick properly because it was evident in a game against the Kings. He knew how to tape his stick. So, Beer Baron, your boy is learning. Maybe he can learn to be an AHLer at some point too.
He grows up, and he grows up.
All right, let's wrap up the podcast, guys.
All right, sounds good to me, Sam.
All right,
so Devils are currently up. We got about 13 and a half minutes to go. Let's hope that the Devils hold on to that lead. It's 2 goals to yes. We'll just leave it at that. 2 goals up.
Yep.
Won't say anything more.
Yep. Hey, it would be cool to see.
Final thoughts, Beer Baron?
Even if it's an empty netter, Mikey McLeod's going to get his first point or first goal tonight. I got that feeling.
You would lose your mind. You would lose your mind if Mikey McLeod did that.
I'll be streaking across. I would be streaking up to the quad and back.
Hey, Rich in the Facebook group said he made In-N-Out give him a paper hat. So we're gonna have we'll have a meetup at In-N-Out Burger out in Vegas next year.
Oh my God! If we make this happen for real, when did they announce the schedule? When did they announce the schedule for next year? Is that like during the playoffs?
June or July?
June or
July.
July.
June.
We have to wait that long.
We do. Cheryl, good night. Cheryl just wished us a good night. Make Vegas happen. Yes. Cheryl, we're going to have to make Bobby come too. Bobby can gamble. He's old enough. So, no, Rich, don't say that stuff in the Facebook group. Rich, do not say that. It will not be said on the podcast. Do
Thanks,
not
Joe.
say that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's
right.
it, man. That's it.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. This is 2 weeks in a row with me here at the podcast, Pure Baron. It's been a good time to be back.
Hell yeah,
Finally.
dude.
Good
Hell
time
yeah.
to be back.
I
Bobby,
have
all
to
right.
say, can we say why you don't have a voice though? Because your voice was like,
I left my voice at Red Bull Arena today.
there you go.
So yeah, that's why I do not have a voice. I left it there. And Cheryl, Bobby's other father, Kevin, needs to come out to Vegas with us as well, and he will. So anyway, Sam, turn it up. And until next time, let's go Devils.